Hey friends, gather round, grab a drink, maybe something ancient inspired like wine or water with a splash of olive oil. And let me tell you a story that's over 2,500 years old, but still gives me chills every time I think about it. This is the tale of the Battle of Marathon, a clash that didn't just decide the fate of Greece, it shaped the course of Western civilization. Ready? Let's dive in. Okay, picture this. It's 490 BCE, and the mighty Persian Empire, led by King Darius I, is on a mission to expand its territory. Their target? A tiny collection of Greek city-states, including Athens, which are fiercely independent and stubbornly resistant to being conquered. Persia sends a massive invasion force, some estimates say around 25,000 soldiers, to crush Athens once and for all. But here's the twist. Athens doesn't roll over. Instead, they march out to meet the Persians head-on at a place called Marathon, a plain about 26 miles northeast of Athens. With only 10,000 Athenian hoplites, heavily armed foot soldiers, and a small contingent from their allies in Plataea, the Greeks prepare to fight what seems like an impossible battle. Spoiler alert, against all odds, they win. And not just win, they deliver one of the most decisive victories in history. Now, you're probably wondering how a much smaller army managed to defeat one of the largest empires of the ancient world. Great question. Here's the breakdown. The Athenians were led by a brilliant general named Miltiades, who came up with a clever plan. Knowing the Persians had superior numbers, especially cavalry, he stretched his line thin across the battlefield to match the width of the Persian forces. Then he reinforced the center while keeping the wings strong, a tactic designed to envelop the enemy. When the fighting began, the Persian center pushed forward, thinking they had the advantage. But the Greek wings held firm and swung inward, trapping the Persians in a deadly pincer movement. Chaos ensued, and the Persians broke ranks, fleeing back to their ships. Greek hoplites wore heavy bronze armor and carried large round shields, making them slower but nearly indestructible compared to the lightly armored Persian infantry. They fought in tight formations called phalanxes, where overlapping shields created an impenetrable wall. This discipline gave them an edge in close combat. Let's not forget, the Greeks knew the terrain. They used the narrow plains of Marathon to negate the Persians' numerical superiority and prevent their cavalry from maneuvering effectively. Geography really does matter in warfare. Here's my favorite part of the story. After the victory, legend has it that a messenger named Miltiades ran non-stop from Marathon to Athens to deliver the news of the triumph. He supposedly shouted, "Nike, victory," before collapsing from exhaustion. While historians debate whether this run actually happened, it inspired the modern marathon race, a testament to human endurance and determination. Fun fact: the official marathon distance of 26.2 miles wasn't standardized until the 1908 London Olympics, but its roots trace directly back to this epic moment in history. You might be thinking, cool story, but why should I care about some ancient battle? Well, buckle up, because this was more than just a military victory. It was a turning point for democracy, philosophy, and everything we associate with Western culture. By defeating the Persians, the Athenians preserved their fledgling experiment in democracy. Imagine if Persia had won. Would Socrates have taught his students? Would Plato have written The Republic? Would democracy have survived? Despite their differences, the Greek city-states rallied together against a common threat. Sound familiar? This spirit of unity echoes in alliances like NATO today. The underdog victory at Marathon became a symbol of resilience and courage. Even now, writers, filmmakers, and leaders draw inspiration from the idea that a small group of determined people can change the course of history. I remember reading about the Battle of Marathon for the first time in school and feeling utterly floored. I mean, imagine standing shoulder to shoulder with your fellow citizens, knowing that the survival of your entire way of life depends on your bravery. That kind of collective sacrifice blows my mind. It also makes me reflect on how fragile freedom can be. The Athenians risked everything, not just for themselves, but for future generations. Every time I lace up my running shoes for a marathon, or even just jog down the block, I think about Phidippides and the incredible legacy of endurance and hope he left behind. So, next time you hear about the Battle of Marathon, don't just think of it as some dusty event from history class. Think of it as a reminder of what humanity is capable of when we stand united, fight for our values, and refuse to back down, even in the face of overwhelming odds. And hey, the next time you run a marathon or watch one, tip your hat to those ancient Greeks who showed us that sometimes the longest journeys start with a single step or a sprint across 26.2 miles. What do you guys think? Who would have been the hero of the story if you'd been there? Would you have charged into battle or stayed home to protect the city walls? Let's chat.